Welcome to another Anime Kingdom review. See my title below? Yes, it's on episode 4 and 5 of Gamers, which means yes, this is of course a double episode review. And yes, I know, I am sorry guys that actually both of these episodes are late. It's just lately it's been really busy, really hectic. I'm, having to deal with a bunch of stuff, especially with, I have to be going back to school next week and everything. That everything is just, I've been falling behind more and more. And when it doesn't have to be about like these reviews. It could be anything in life. When you fall behind on one thing, it just starts to stack up more and more until you can finally, finish all of that and catch up. And that's pretty much what I am trying to do this week. So hopefully, of course, next week, we will finally get back to a normal schedule, and you guys will not have to worry about late reviews or double episode reviews and everything like that. The reason why this is a double episode review and not a triple episode review, considering that episode 6 does come out this week, is I felt that having a triple episode review would be way too long. And this way, if you want to hear my thoughts on episode 4 and 5, which I'm guessing you do considering you clicked this video, then of course you can go ahead and continue to watch this video. If you don't, you want to hear my thoughts on the newest episode, which is of course going to be episode 6, then of course you can just go ahead and wait for that. That will come out this week. Do not worry about that. I plan on finishing everything up, catching up by this week. So yeah, you can of course, if you don't want to hear my thoughts on these ones, go ahead and click out of the video. If you do, then go ahead and stay. If you don't care about episode 4, as always guys, with these double episode reviews, feel free in the the description below, there's a time link. You can go ahead and click and it'll go straight to the episode 5 portion of the review. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. So let's get on to how I felt about episode 4, because honestly, this was the episode that I've been waiting for these past, I guess it's only a couple episodes, but I've been wondering, when were they going to have an episode focused on Tendo? It felt so weird that they had this huge focus on her being one of the main characters in the first episode, and then ever since then, she's been kind of more of just on the sidelines. Every so often you see a reaction from her with Kita, but it's pretty much, oh, there's a reaction, she runs off. That's pretty much all there's been. There has not been any more development of her character, which it feels super weird as well, because I do like her character. I like her character design. I love her personality and everything. The one thing that didn't make sense to me, which of course we finally do understand a little bit more going in towards the end of the episode, was the whole thing of her falling in love with Kita. It felt so forced and so out of nowhere that it felt like I just didn't understand why that came about. And it felt so weird that they brought that up and have her kind of in love with him and everything throughout all these episodes, but they don't really develop up, on their relationship. And it's kind of just a side thing. Like I keep saying, it doesn't make sense having her as a main character, throwing her in there, showing her, that she is important and everything, and having this relationship out of nowhere, but then no development, in any of the episodes after that. It felt super weird, honestly. But finally, of course, we do get that episode. The one thing I gotta say about how this episode went, I loved the episode, but I felt that this episode would be better, I don't know, maybe the next episode or the episode after that. It felt weird that out of nowhere, the last episode ended, of course, with the whole conflict of, Aguri with Uehara and Chiaki, and Kita finally solving it, finally getting it good with Aguri and everything. And then boom, the very ending showed Uehara and Chiaki looking like obviously they were together, which of course made Aguri super jealous, or super like she can't believe everything. And that was the end of the episode. It looked like it was going to transition from that to kind of trying to fix the whole problem and everything, but instead it felt kind of like, I'm not too sure if this is actually how it is in the source material, but honestly for me it felt like they skipped over a bunch of things and went straight to this other part with Tendo. Like I said before, I still love the episode with it being focused on Tendo. I just feel the placement of this episode kind of felt like they skipped over a bunch of things. So if I am correct, just feel free to comment below and say, yeah, you're correct. That's actually how it is in the story. If there is actually something that was skipped over, tell me, please. I want to know. Don't spoil what was skipped over, but please tell me, was there a bunch of chapters skipped over from the source material in this anime adaptation, or was that actually how it's supposed to be? Because it's kind of been in the back of my head like, was there anything skipped or something, or is this really how it is? Because it feels so weird. Like one moment you're here, the next moment it's like that never happened or something. It just, I don't know. It felt really weird for me, at least, with the placement of everything. But if you look at it from that never happened point of view, then this episode was just awesome. Like there was nothing like, oh, what happened there and everything. It's just, here we are. I overall enjoyed this episode because, like I said before, I've been wondering when we were going to get more development of her character. The first half was absolutely hilarious, honestly. I thought it was so funny how her life honestly was like perfect. I gotta say, her life is more fun now, on like how everything changed because of Kita. Obviously it definitely got turned upside down, I'm not gonna lie, but it was so funny how before it was perfect. She would wake up early, go out on a jog, do her homework, eat, leave on time, socialize with her friends, help the teachers out and everything, and then of course going on with the club activities, and then going home and going to sleep early. Everything was perfect for her. Then Kita arrived. I've been wondering, like at the beginning of the first episode, they showed that everything changed because of him. I was wondering when they were going to show that change, to which, yes, finally we do get that in the second half of the first half of the episode. Yeah, that's kind of a mouthful there. But yes, finally we get it. And honestly, it was so hilarious how she, like, several like moments, like she wakes up late, obviously she starts dreaming of Kita. She's not socializing with her friends at first. She's actually hiding behind them because of him. Uses the excuse of helping the teacher, which she's going the complete opposite direction, trying to see Kita and everything, and then dashes off, in the other direction. But honestly, like one of the main things I've enjoyed of her character is just she's so adorable. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I feel like before we get onto the second half, it felt still weird that out of nowhere she fell in love with him. But if you look past that part and you get point, like maybe there was development and we just didn't see it, and you look at the point that she's already in love with him, it's so cute seeing all her, oh my gosh, there he is, running off, blushing like crazy when she thinks of him. Honestly, like, I don't know why, but whenever I see those kind of moments in any anime, it always just, like, I always enjoy it so much because it literally is so adorable, especially for her character, honestly. And I really did enjoy that first part. There's a ton of hilarious moments that, honestly, that first half was awesome because of the comedic factor. Now the second half is where we actually get a lot more serious. We get into more of the romance and drama, and finally kind of dive into the relationship between Kita and, of course, Tendo. And I felt that finally with that, development, we finally get some development in this episode. We finally kind of understand why she has feelings for him, the whole thing with how he pretty much acts, honestly, how his personality is, and how winning and losing and all that kind of stuff. We see that she understands that, and she, it finally gets her from her, pretty much being in the slump and losing and everything, to finally feeling some confidence and feeling a lot better about everything after that whole, I guess, arcade date that they pretty much had. It was a not supposed to be a date, but it was pretty much a date, honestly. I will admit I still don't really care for Kita's character. I don't really know what he's doing, and it's kind of like he's always scared, and he's just kind of like not an exciting character. I love all the other characters so far. It's just he's kind of, I don't know, he doesn't strike me off as a main character, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, that's honestly how I feel. But overall, I still did like the development of their relationship in this episode. The development of Tendo was definitely needed, and I did enjoy that as well. And of course, it was really cute to see all her, reactions and, facial expressions. If I had to say what was my favorite part of the episode, besides, of course, the comedy, it would definitely be just the facial expressions and reactions of Tendo. Because honestly, she's super adorable, probably the best girl in my opinion. You may have different, ideas. You think this girl, Aguri, is better, or Chiaki is better. But for me, at least, I believe that it's Tendo. And this episode, for me at least, definitely did cement that, in my opinion. But I can't wait to see, the next episodes, how everything will go. Now that we have had development with, her, and development with the relationship, will that be, will we see more of that, or are we going to be going back to how it was before? Are we actually even going to get back to the whole conflict that we saw in the last episode, or is that just going to be like, out of there and we're never going to see that ever again, But yeah, it's pretty much all I got to say about the episode. Overall, awesome episode. First half, very comedic, very funny. Definitely a lot of cute moments, and seeing some development and build up of, her character, Tendo's character overall. And then the second half, finally getting to see much more serious outlook, much more development on her character as well, with the relationship between her and Kita. And of course, the ending, I gotta admit, was pretty cute. How at first it seemed like she was finally ready to, get back to gaming and everything. And then after, when she starts playing with them, she actually got worse. And it's because now when she thinks of trying hard, she thinks of his face. So honestly, I gotta just say, Tendo, best girl, super adorable. Can't wait to see more of her, honestly. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So I'm gonna have a little cut over here, and we're gonna skip to the episode 5 portion of the review. So in 3, 2, 1. And here we are at the episode 5 portion of the review. Honestly, this was the episode that I was expecting for episode 4, obviously, because we finally get into the whole conflict that was ended on episode 3 with Chiaki, Uehara, Aguri, and Kita. I was expecting that to be for, this to be for episode 4. It still, to me, honestly feels so weird that they went from the whole conflict thing, and then they went to episode 4, and Kita kind of acts like none of that even happened. At first, obviously, when I started watching episode 5, I kind of was wondering, why didn't they just have this for episode 4 and episode 4 for episode 5? It didn't make sense that they would split up, both of these kind of parts, as the conflict kind of didn't seem to happen in episode 4. But of course, that ended up my mind ended up being changed because of the whole fact that when you hear, Uehara and Kita talking, they end up talking about what happened between him and, of course, Tendo, and they're pretty much not date to the arcade, and of course doing those coin machines and everything like that. So that actually did happen, which means, yes, episode 4 is actually in the right place, and episode 5 is actually should be, what episode 5 is. It just feels still to me so weird that they would have that one thing go on and then just completely forget like that happened. Kita's, having this whole thing, kind of, he's got to help out Aguri and everything, and it seems like this next day in episode 4, it's like none of that happened, he's just having fun with Tendo. To me, it just feels so weird and out of place, kind of more just all over the place, not out of place, just everything feels all over the place. I'm not too sure how, if that's actually how it is in the source material, but to me, honestly, it felt really weird and kind of just, like I said, all over the place. But if you skip past all of that part and you just look at this episode, honestly, I gotta say, this episode, gamers it completely always makes me feel that, I always think this episode can't be, no episode can be better than this kind of episode. I enjoy it a lot and everything, and honestly, it just keeps getting better and better. I'm not gonna lie, this episode was probably the most hilarious episode so far, for the fact that it literally is misunderstandings upon misunderstandings, and wait for it, more misunderstandings. It was just so hilarious that the whole episode was centered around each one of them having a misunderstanding about another person, another of the group's relationships. Tendo thinking that obviously Chiaki and, Kita is together. Kita thinking that Uehara is being a player and not only being with Chiaki, but also being with Tendo. Aguri thinking that obviously, Uehara is cheating on her and actually with Chiaki. Chiaki and Uehara thinking that obviously, Kita and not Tendo, but Kita with Aguri is a thing, especially with the whole thing when they're holding hands and he goes out, and I'm like, at that moment I was like, oh my gosh, he said something stupid, didn't you? And yeah, that's what he said. He went out and said that Aguri is like the perfect girlfriend and everything. She's super cute, super awesome and everything, but he didn't say that she was Uehara's, girlfriend. Instead, he just says, she's a perfect girlfriend, which pretty much means, like, she thought, of course, what they all thought is that he's going out with Aguri, and he's kind of just, for some reason, going up to her and saying that she's like the perfect girl and everything. And I was just cracking up throughout the series. It was so funny, and it's so funny too on how Uehara is trying to fix everything. He's trying to solve all these kind of things, figure out what the hell is going on between, Kita and Aguri. He's trying to get this whole rom-com kind of, thing going on between, which is actually is funny because that's what this, whole genre is for this anime. He's trying to get Kita along with Tendo and of course Chiaki as well, something going on there. And honestly, it was so funny how, like, he had so many creepy laughs throughout the episode. episode in so many moments. Like he's like, haha, stupid idiots, or haha, I got you now. And then next moment he's like, what is going on? And it's like everything's just completely thrown over, and he does not, you know, understand how all of these came about. And honestly, it's just so funny to see all of them misunderstand one thing about another person. The very ending also obviously was, you know, also super funny, because I saw this before in previous episodes that it looked like there could be a thing between Uehara and Kita as well, from a, you know, a girl's point of view on the side, or even guy's point of view on the side, and them holding hands at that one moment super close together, and Chiaki walks in. That part just, it was honestly, I was cracking up so hard. I was like, okay, yeah, there was bound to be that, you know, everyone so far has a misunderstanding about someone being with, you know, someone else already, and of course it has to be one with Kita and Uehara as well. And honestly, I don't know what to say besides this episode was just completely hilarious. And literally, that's the name of the game for this anime so far. It's Misunderstandings, because that's really how it is throughout the whole series so far. It's honestly, I can't wait to see how all of this is resolved, or if it will even be resolved in coming episodes, or there's just gonna be misunderstandings throughout the whole series, honestly. But nonetheless, so far I am loving everything. Like I said before, you know, before I start the episode 5 portion of the review, do not worry, the episode 6 portion will come out later. It's just I didn't want to put it in, you know, together with this one, because I felt that would be too long, and of course that is a new one. So if you know, rather just go to that one, of course you probably would have just went to that one. But yeah, it's really all I gotta say about this one. Episode 5 is kind of easy to review in the way that it's literally, like I said, it's just misunderstandings upon misunderstandings, and just the interactions and reactions of all of them are completely hilarious, especially considering Uehara sees like Chiaki and, you know, pretty much Kita are like exactly the same person. And like I said before, I almost forgot to mention, I knew for a fact that she was going to end up being Mono, and of course, you know, she was going to be end up, you know, being the girl that of course always plays with him for that mobile game. And honestly, I just felt that, you know, they still don't even know, but they are so alike that it's funny. And even him and, you know, Aguri, their relationship as well, it's kind of funny because they are alike as well. So honestly, at the end of the game, you just gotta feel sorry for Uehara and Tendo. Honestly, Tendo doesn't know what's going on. She's super sad and super confused. And Uehara, I don't know, man. I just feel sorry for him because he's trying so hard to, I don't know, do all these different kind of things, and his plans just literally flip over, and it's like, too bad, not gonna work that way. Sorry, Uehara. But yeah, nonetheless, definitely enjoyable. Cannot wait to see how episode 6 will be. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy it, feel like, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. As always, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. How do you feel about episode 4 or 5? Or if you want to talk about both of them, feel free to comment that below. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Until next time, see ya.